Private inspections rock. They are so much better than game day. They are so much better than open homes on a Saturday. And there's so many reasons why. And it's such a huge strategic advantage for you guys doing this yourselves. So I'm going to get straight into what it is and how to get one. Let's go. The reason private inspections have such a strategic advantage is because we're avoiding the competition, and it does something else as well, and that is instills faith in the seller that they've got a genuine buyer. If we're hand in hand with an agent as a buyer going through a property on a private inspection, it's because it's serious. We're not tire kicking to go through that. We'd assume as sellers that the real estate agent has done their job to qualify the buyer before they've come through the property. I'd want a bit of a rundown on their story and everything else as well as a seller to really make sure they are qualified and in that position. So all of a sudden, the seller goes from not knowing who you are as an anonymous group through an open home on a Saturday to knowing your name, knowing your specifics and taking you very seriously and expecting an offer at the other end of it. And when someone's expecting an offer, they're starting to mentally spend the money, mentally move on to the next thing and go, right, okay, there's a chance this is going to happen. What am I doing next? So it's a really good psychological tool just in its own right before any of the actual practical advantages even kicked in yet. So that's something to bear in mind. I love private inspections because you're avoiding the competition's eyeballs. I can't tell you how many open homes I've been to where there's a lot of people around and you can read people's body language. They're thinking, holy crap, this is a competitive environment. I'm going to have to stretch myself. Honey, we're going to have to maybe put in a little bit more than what we thought to kind of beat these guys. And look, there's a buyer's agent over there who's probably got a client. It must be a serious property and something worth considering. So all this narrative starts happening and your competition start to increase before you even at the offer stage. So I just want to be one less body there, one less person there. Ideally, I want to do it through the week to avoid the open home. And what that does is it means everyone rocking up to the open home, learn at the front doorstep that it's just gone under contract the night before. And the people, I guess, that are there then are quite dejected and the body language tells you the other story. Oh, well, do we even bother? Oh, this is the 10th time we've heard this. And those offers, the first ones are always going through. And our backup contracts that we've done in the past have never really done anything other than just bummed us out. So let's not bother. So you win the game before it's even run and you're in your due diligence phase because we've moved through the process to get it under contract with a really firm goal. But the other cool thing as well is you guys can do exactly the same thing as buyers. There's no, again, magic special formula that I use as a buyer's agent to get private inspections over what you guys can do as serious buyers by yourselves. So I'd encourage you to take advantage of what I'm about to share strategically to open those doors. So you've guessed it, a lot of it is the urgency and energy that I put into every phone call with these agents to try and unlock a door for us. A lot of that comes from putting in a certain amount of risk for the selling agent should they not open the door for us prior to Saturday's open. How we do it is exactly the same theme as what I discussed in so many other videos, and that is the energy and the urgency that I place on that initial phone call when contacting the agent. I'm already hyped up because on Saturday, we've got an opportunity for my client to then go and buy something else because, hell, that's been the top of our list. We've done all this work in the background. We just haven't been able to see it because the agent couldn't open the door any earlier. If you can, Mr. Agent, we'd definitely throw this into the consideration that actually it's a bit of a newcomer. We haven't done the due diligence on it yet, but I reckon once I get my clients through, this will actually bump to the top of their list. Is there any opportunity before Saturday and seeing this one that we can make a deal happen here? It's pretty good script and it gets the agent excited. And it does so much more than that. There's this awesome knock-on effect that I'm going to go into now. That knock-on effect is essentially eliminating the competition in the seller's mind, because when you're anonymous at an open home and the agent's giving the feedback to the seller at the end of the open to say we've had 15 groups through, you're part of one of 15 groups. When there's a private inspection, the agent is going to communicate, we've got Sally and Steve coming. They're Brisbane buyers that are coming up especially. They're in a cash strong position. Hell, they're represented by a buyer's agent. Like, they just keep layering all of this qualification on there. And all of a sudden the seller now is psychologically going, oh, there's a deal to be done here. This is incredible. And they're starting to go, whoa, if I did sell now, what would I do with the money? Oh, I could actually go and do this. I'd be settling earlier than I thought. This is amazing. They're mentally going on that journey to go and spend the money that you haven't even given them yet. It's amazing. And they expect an offer from you, and they're waiting for an offer from you. And they could get to Saturday, even if you haven't got, worst case, the thing under contract beforehand, going, but what about Sally and Steve? Are their offers coming through? I'm expecting that to be the best. So you're already starting to vicariously educate and get onto the seller's radar through the selling agent. And this is just from the simple concept of pushing for a private inspection. And this is how much work it can do on your behalf and all the heavy lifting behind the scenes. If you're still getting resistance from the agent, you can actually help them along their journey as well and start to give them some dialogue, which I do as a buyer's agent a lot too, going, hey, look, how about we actually help your seller by giving them some price feedback? So when Saturday comes around and you're doing a roundup of all your offers there, we've already kind of put them in the ballpark because you've had a qualified buyer through who's been in the market for a while and is quite savvy, or perhaps represented by a buyer's agent. So you know that the money we're going to be talking is going to be reflective of where it should sit in the market and what to expect come Saturday. Remember, in this market in particular, there's a lot of education that needs to happen through the selling process. Sellers at the moment aren't necessarily coming to market with the most realistic expectations. And maybe realistic is harsh. It's everyone wants the most they possibly can. And everyone's hoping for that wood duck that falls in love with the property and pays that emotional price on top, the cream on top of where they see value in the market. That's what everyone's chasing. So there needs to be a process that happens over time, and that's by getting buyer feedback. So agents will always chase for that and will follow you up asking where you see value, even if you've already said, no, it's not for me. So I hope this is all making sense so far and really instilling the value of pushing hard for a private inspection. It's not the easiest thing to do, but the pros outweigh the cons. And if you're there, again, being quite assertive with these selling agents saying, we need to do this, we want to do this, they're remembering you as the people that are most running hot on this property. And you will be the first call should there be an opportunity, even if you can't make it happen on that first phone call. The other little benefit from getting a private inspection is actually stems from another video where I talked about beating the competition and how one day can make a big difference. You might think that you're only a day ahead of the competition because you've gone and seen it on a Friday instead of a Saturday. But what you can do on a work day on a Friday as opposed to a Saturday, where they then need to, potential buyers would then need to do their research and qualify things with their brokers, conveyancers, and other professional services, building and pest guys, or whoever they need to get this information from, town planners if they need to go a bit deeper as well. It's hard on a weekend to get that stuff done. On Friday, you can just extend your lead because you have business hours to get stuff done and to qualify yourself to go to the next level on that property. So all I'm saying there is don't underestimate the power that one day can have when it comes to beating the competition. So as a bit of a cheat sheet for you guys to round out this video, private inspections are key. How you get them is that urgency through your energy. You got somewhere to be on Saturday, and you know what? It's a competitor's property. So Mr. Agent, it's worth your time to get me through earlier because I'm thinking about, I reckon if I see this place, this could actually take the top spot and knock this other one out of the park, and wouldn't even be interested after seeing yours. So if there's any opportunity, please, that'd be unreal. We physically can't make it on Saturday to your open time. And the other thing to keep in the back of your mind is the seller then knows who you are. They're expecting an offer from you. The agent has you front of mind as well for being most serious on the property. and you're locking out the competition from the get-go, which is always powerful when it does come to the offer phase and how strategic you can be, knowing you're ahead of everyone else in being able to put together a nice, solid contract on the property. And that's it. You wouldn't think that something as innocuous as a private inspection versus a Saturday open, when you're essentially just seeing the house in its either by yourself or with other people, but it can yield a really, really strong strategic advantage. And if this is a house you really want, you want to be pulling every string you can to make that thing yours and to lock out the competition. I encourage you, go hard, buy better.